Hi, everybody. So, according to the Mirror, Harry and Meghan will make their debut at the Met Gala this year. I do not know whether I believe it or not. Remember, apparently, they were to attend the Met last year as well. Of course, it is not impossible because Anna Wintour, ex-editor of Vogue, heads the committee who decides on who gets an invite and who not. Usually, the invitations go to the top ranking stars of the screen and fashion and music. Well, Harry and Meghan do not fit into any of those categories, but who knows? Anna Wintour did not invite them last year, so why she and her committee would do so this year, I don't know. Personally, I think this is nothing more than Meghan putting her wish list out there, trying to manifest what she wants, just like she has done so many times before. Yes, remember the Queen inviting Doria to Sandringham. It didn't happen. Being invited to the Beckham wedding. It didn't happen. Apparently, Nicola went, Meghan who? No, I think this is just a story. But I personally would love to see 5 foot fuck all plain Jane housewife of Monteshit show at the Met trying to compete with the likes of Blake Lively and Bella Hadid and Sarah Jessica Parker. I think it may be fun or then funny. Yes, sometimes it pays to know when you can and when you can't, and to stick to your lane. Anyway, I have another matter I wish to address today, and I know it's a very unpopular subject, and I get myself kicked in the teeth for my views on it. But you see, the mood I am in lately, I don't care, because whether people like it or not, whether they feel the same or not, I am factually correct. Now, since the Queen's death, we have been hearing about the King wanting Andrew out of Royal Lodge. But I told you then that Andrew has a lease agreement which he paid for. So legally, neither the King nor anyone else can kick him out unless or until he breaks the clauses of the agreement. So what next? Well, the Queen, as we know, paid for Andrew's security and his annual subsidy out of her private income, or then the money received from the Duchy of Lancaster. Now, as you will also know, since the death of the Queen and Charles becoming king, control over the money from the Duchy of Lancaster now rests with King Charles, and his previous income from the Duchy of Cornwall was transferred to his first in line to the throne, namely the Prince of Wales, Prince William. So recently we learned that King Charles III will no longer foot the bill for Andrew's security, but now it has been announced that as from April, Andrew's annual subsidy of $436,000 annually, or then £249,000, will also be cut. This will leave Andrew with only his Navy pension and likely unable to afford the maintenance and upkeep of Royal Lodge, which had been his home since 2004. Now, before the Queen passed away and before Harry moved to America, the Queen paid her 3 children's annual stipends from her income from the Duchy of Lancaster, which amounted to approximately £250,000 each annually. Of course, that included Princess Anne, Prince Edward, and Prince Andrew, and did not include Prince Charles or the then Prince of Wales, who got his income from the Duchy of Cornwall. Charles, however, paid his son's stipend from his income, and they each received a portion of 4.4 million. Now, although the monarch is not entitled to the Duchy of Lancaster's capital assets or capital profits, the reigning sovereign is paid the net profit from the duchy, which amounts to approximately £24 million per year. So, like it or not, or regardless of how you feel about Andrew, Charles cutting his stipend does not mean slimming the monarchy, as Charles's income will remain 24 million, and cutting Andrew's stipend will purely mean £250,000 more in the king's pocket. There are currently serious concerns from certain senior and ex-senior aides about how things are phrased in the media. I'm having an ongoing discussion with a gentleman who unfortunately does not want to be named, so I'm just going to give him an initial to save me having to refer to him as that man or a guy. So for now, I'm going to call him K. According to Kay, the narrative that the king is slimming the monarchy by cutting Andrew's annual stipend is wrong, incorrect, and sounds more like PR spin than being factual, which it is not factual as set out above. According to Kay, the issue does not begin and end with Andrew. While the Queen was alive, she also paid her cousin, the Duke of Kent, an annual stipend, as she considered the Duke a working member of the royal family. And indeed, for many years, the Duke had been one of the busiest royals, being involved with over 140 charities and organizations and professional bodies. It is not sure how his finances will work or whether he will continue to receive a stipend after the king's coronation. Prince Michael of Kent, however, although he has carried out royal engagement and is involved with about 100 charities and organizations, has always worked and earned money independently from the royal family and monarchy, and thus was never considered a working royal and never received a stipend from the Queen. She did, however, for a while pay his rent at Kensington Palace on his behalf in return and in gratitude for his loyalty and service. However, in 2010, it was announced that Prince Michael would pay his own rent. Now, Prince Michael and his wife currently still live in apartment 10 at Kensington Palace. However, according to Kay, and I agree with him 100%, cutting the stipends to Andrew and the Duke of Kent does not constitute slimming the monarchy if King Charles still receives 24 million from the Duchy of Lancaster and the same amount in sovereign grant. The amount of the sovereign grant is usually equal to 15% of the income net surplus of the Crown Estate. But in 2016, the grant was increased to 25%, supposedly to cover the repairs and renovation of Buckingham Palace. As the agreement currently stands, the sovereign grant is supposed to revert back to 15% in 2027. Now, guys, Kay and I are not going to do the maths for you, as we are not in the spoon feeding and propaganda business. But suffice it to say, the 10% annual increase amounts to approximately 30 to 36 million pounds per year. Now, it is up to you to decide whether that amount multiplied by 10 years is really, honestly, and truly the renovation cost of Buckingham Palace, and if so, whether it is truly worth it for a building which is not occupied by the monarch and not used for much else than the monarch's office and the occasional state function. Moving on, Kay worked in the media and his niche is media, PR, etc. And he can smell gaslighting a mile off. He has discussed his concerns about the skewed media hype from Buckingham Palace with ex senior aides, and they, like him, are worried. Other examples of media narrative which was not factually true were, for example, the king rerouting or donating the wind farm profit to the state. This was indeed not true. It is crown property money and not the king to reroute or donate in the first place. Kay also fumed and spoke to senior aides after articles appeared with the heading King Charles turns private Highgrove Castle and Castle of May into warm public spaces. Again, Kay found the headings and articles misleading and contacted aides and colleagues in the media. Facts are that the articles are written in a way that gives the impression that the king is generously giving accommodation or warm spaces for the poor, when in fact all it means is that he extended the open season and hours and has thrown in one, only one, complimentary tea or coffee for visitors, and that is all. Admission prices to the Castle of May, for instance, are still £14.50 for adults and £12 for seniors over 60 and students, and £8 for children 5 to 16. So basically, by extending the season and hours, it basically only means more income for the king from his private properties. Regardless of Kay's complaint and request for clarity, he was simply told to let it go by media bosses and senior aides alike. After continued discussions between Kay and ex-senior aides and Kay and myself, we are all worried about this new media gaslighting, as it does not serve to create trust in the new king. As a matter of fact, for those who are schooled in the inner workings of the royal family, it is starting to reek of Hollywood and celebrity style media hype, a bubble which can easily burst when honest journalists start questioning these headlines. And as these headlines are not factually correct or misleading, it is indeed also providing the likes of Republic ammunition to use against the king. Kay has issued that exact warning to certain aides and the British media outlets, but it appears that they and or the king are not prepared to listen. So okay guys, this is it from me for now. Some food for thought, and I'll see you again on the next video. So take good care of yourselves until then. Bye.